Have you ever heard a song that you thought was really shit? A song that makes you wonder how did that become a hit? Sometimes you need to hear a discussion about that. Irregular podcast format. Well, that's a little bit of songs that we gotta attack. 1,001 statement piles of crap. I'm telling you the truth, you know that we don't lie. It's 1,001 songs that make you wanna die. Oh!
And now here's your hosts, Dan, Bevo, Mad Dog, and Gypsy.
This is 1,001 Songs That Make You Want to Die, the podcast where we discuss songs so bad they make you want to bury landmines in your local dog park.
Oh,
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Not just the regular poos.
Yeah, well, you've got to be pretty upset to do that. Look, I've got to introduce the people here. We've got our trusty Ryan Beveridge.
Hello.
We've got the very talented and bald Dan Southern.
That's not true at all. I'm not talented.
I'm not very talented.
Resurrected like Jesus is Zav.
no, it's Donald Bradman today.
It's Donald Bradman. Yeah, righto. And I am very, very, very pleased to welcome tonight the multi-award-winning comedian, actor, writer, and the man behind the Bodgy Creek Community Podcast, Mr. Damian Callinan.
G'day.
Thanks for coming back.
It's been ages since I've buried a landmine in a dog park.
Yeah, well, would you choose the small dog park or the big dogs?
Hey? Small or big dog?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, look, the small dog park. But smaller bombs. I put smaller bombs in it. I don't just put one massive one and just take all the... Yeah.
More cost
It's like a
effective.
nice little
Try and take 'em out
treat
one
for
at
the
a time.
dogs.
Yeah, exactly right.
Puzzle.
So, look, we have had a conversation with Damien before, and it was a bloody good time. So very excited to have you here again, mate.
But Mad Dog,
thank you.
Thanks, Mad Dog.
what song are we doing?
Well, in fact, our song tonight is Our Don Bradman by Len Morris.
Our Don Bradman. Now I ask you, is he any good? Our Don
I think you'll find Maurice.
I've always wondered about that because
Yeah, well, look, it's a weird thing. His real name is Art Leonard, and he was a radio broadcaster and singer. But his stage name was Len Maurice, and it's like you're going to change your name, and you change it to something different. They're essentially the same name, aren't they?
you'd change it to Max Power or something.
Yeah, or Little Nas or something. You know, like it's weird.
I really like...
It's like Mike Brady. You know, Mike Brady is singing up there, Kazali. I know you're like from New South Wales, so it's probably out of
the
your...
Brady Bunch. Yeah, the dad.
Yeah, that
that's
guy.
what I was
yeah.
thinking of. Husband
Well,
of...
Like Barry Crocker changed his name to Bob Catter.
Did he?
Yeah.
After he did the Neighbours theme song.
It makes sense for some of them. I think he should have just blinged his name up, given it a bit of...
He could have put a bit more effort in. Yeah.
So this is the oldest.
Or Little Lenny, or the Artful Leno, or some shit.
This is the oldest song we've
That's just
ever done.
My personal beef with the long dead Leonard Len Maurice.
Yeah, this
But
is
it Morris or Maurice? Sorry, Beba.
Well, I think it'd be Maurice.
Righto.
If you're going to change your name to a stage name, you'd make it fancy. Like otherwise, it's just two first names, isn't it? It's just Len Morris.
Well, that's where you're wrong, actually.
Okay.
It's Len Maurice.
that makes more
I
sense.
think you're right. Maurice. It's good.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's much better.
That's how
Yeah,
I
I was
read
going to say. So this is probably the oldest song we have done, and probably will ever do. So this is
I
No,
don't
we did did we do Jingle Bells?
true.
No, we did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's
So
50s.
this is 1930. So you
Yeah.
Rudolph's-
This is older than those two. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We didn't do Jingle Bells, but yeah, Rudolph is 1950s.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, you will notice, because this is me, Mad Dog, hosting tonight, that Zav has been resurrected, but there is one motherfucker here that's actually not here, pardon me, that is dead.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was about time that he
Yeah.
died.
Oh, something did seem up, actually.
And his name's Chibsy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, listeners, he's actually dead.
Yeah.
But it's quite a funny story about how he died. He actually died after being hit by a foul ball at Dodger Stadium.
How would you be?
That is funny.
Right. Yeah. Living his dream.
Living the dream. He gets
Ibsy
hit-
or is it Kahipsy?
It's Kahibsy, you're right. I've
Kahibsy,
always
mate.
said that.
Have you ever been to Dodger Stadium, Damien?
I think what would be more unlucky is if you were to be hit by a ball that had been hit for 6 by Don Bradman, because he only
Who
hit
is you?
2 or 3.
At the Dodger Stadium. Like,
Yeah.
no, I
Hang
haven't
on.
been to the stadium.
You haven't? Okay.
No, the death rate's too high. Like something like
It's a risk.
17% of the audience.
Bad
of the
enough
crowd
being in America
die
in the first
at any-
place.
Yeah.
at any given game.
Yeah.
Not all from foul balls, but
I'll take my chances with COVID. Just don't send me to Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, I hear the foul balls there are fatal.
Deadly. Safer,
All right.
safer than a school.
anyway, R.I.P. Kahibsy.
Yeah.
Let's jump into some lyrics, shall we, gentlemen?
Yeah.
So we've got a first verse straight up, as usual. It goes like this. Who is it that all Australia raves about? Who has won our very highest praise? Now, is it Amy Johnson or little Mickey Mouse? No! It's just a country lad who's bringing down the house, and he's...
Oh, Don Bradman. And I ask you, is he any good? Now, Don Bradman. As a batsman, he can surely on the wood. Not even an exaggeration of how Len Maurice bangs out.
Len Maurice, yeah.
That sounded exactly how the song sounds.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Amy Johnson? Can I just...
Yeah, when you
Ask
put Mickey Mouse up against anyone, really, it's
I'm
like,
pretty sure. I meant to research.
Don't you know who Amy Johnson is?
sorry, Don, tell us.
I don't.
M.Y. Johnson. M.Y.
I'll
Johnson.
tell you
I
who Amy
believe she
Johnson
was
is,
a.
pal.
I feel like she was a pilot, like a female solo pilot, but I might be wrong. Or she invented polio. One of those two.
Whatever she did, it started with a P. It
Yeah.
could have been polio or pilot.
Yeah.
You're right, actually. So
She had sex with multiple penguins. I'm not sure. She had a lifestyle to go through every breed of penguin.
Amy Johnson was a pioneering English pilot who was the first woman to fly solo from London to Australia. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Right
That's
up
a
there with
decent trip.
Mickey Mouse.
Righto.
Same as Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. He piloted a ship.
I'll tell you what she wasn't.
She
Plum
wasn't
Pud.
Plum Pud.
We'll
I think
get
that's
there.
my favourite lyric.
Plum Pud. All right. Well,
We'll
look,
jump forward to the second verse. there.
we've discerned who Amy Johnson is. So the refrain,
Sorry.
our Don Bradman, and I ask you, is he any good? Our Don Bradman, as a batsman, he can sure lay on the wood. For when he goes into bat, he knocks every record flat. For there isn't anything he cannot do. Our Don Bradman, every Aussie, dips his lid to you. Please discuss.
Okay, well,
Now, I have a comment about that last line. Doesn't sit right with me.
Dips his lid.
Every Aussie dips his lid to you. In 1930, there were 3 million women in Australia.
Yeah.
It's not very
So
exclusatory, is it?
He's only liked by
Inclusive.
half of the country.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean? What's a
Well,
lid?
no,
It's
well,
like
dip your lid means you tip your hat.
righto. Yeah.
So women wore hats too.
Yes.
Well, no. So this
And
comedian
in
I saw the other
1930,
day filled us
every
in.
fucker wore a hat.
Saw a comedian the other
His
day that said women weren't invented until Jermaine Greer came up with them in the 70s. So
Oh, Jesus.
Greer, Jermaine Greer.
Yeah, you got it wrong. Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she invented women.
I
in the
do
70s.
agree. Like, I don't think every Aussie did. And we'll get into that later on.
Mm, mm.
They're also claiming there that is there anything he cannot do? I did some research. I found some stuff he could not do.
Excellent. Please regale us with things that Don Bradman couldn't do.
He can't do anything now because he's dead. But at the time of writing, he was alive. Childbirth again. You're probably right with your female male gender thing.
Couldn't do that.
He couldn't orbit the Earth unassisted. He couldn't, or any planet for that matter. He couldn't tie the
Or
tropical
assisted.
Capricorn in a knot. That was beyond our Don. He couldn't teach a pineapple to play the clarinet. They were his last words. He actually said, "I wish I
can't do it."
Yeah, I wish I taught that pineapple to play the clarinet. He couldn't play snooker with a tea towel as a cue. He tried to enter the front for the bike made entirely out of pool noodles, but was not allowed entry. So that's the tip of the iceberg, boys.
There were plenty of other things that he couldn't do.
Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He was good at cricket, but as you said there, Damien, like he's very limited in a lot of other ways.
Absolutely.
Well, it's like Nick Kyrgios. Like, he's decent at tennis, but he's pretty shit at other things.
Yeah.
Like treating women well.
Yeah, he put all his skill set
Yeah.
into tennis.
Umpires well.
I mean, fair enough on the
coins.
pineapple one. Like, was it the clarinet? You said he can't teach a pineapple to play the clarinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's understandable. No opposable digits there, and like that would have been a struggle for him even if he did try that.
Yeah, he was stupid to set that as a benchmark.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. He should have stuck to
late in life too.
Yeah,
maybe when he was younger and more agile.
And how many times have you sunk an 8-ball with a fucking tea towel as a snooker cue?
I sank a pink once. But admittedly, I'd wet it, but left it out in the sun, so it went hard. I got one decent shot in, and
usually a lot of work goes into making tea towels hard, but if that's all
I think a better lyric, a more suitable lyric or accurate lyric should have been our Don Bradman. Is instead of saying, "Is there anything he cannot do?" Is that what the word is? For there is anything he cannot do. He should have just said like, "There's plenty of things he tried to do, but he failed at a lot of stuff, and he was very ambitious for trying all these things, but he was very good at cricket." A concise version of that.
Yeah, look, that's not a great lyric. I think but it's
it needs work. Needs work.
Yeah, no, it's past
sure.
tense, and he's still kicking at this point, so it should be
exactly.
Look,
the lyric in the next refrain. So is our Don Bradman now ask you, is he any good? Our Don Bradman, as a batsman, is he certainly plumb poured? Which we all agree is the shittest line in it. But we can't. But this is the Depression. This is in 1930. This was written.
Okay.
No one was having desserts in 1930. Like people were eating wet tea towels that had been left out on the road. Like that's why they couldn't play ball with them.
Yeah, it's like a modern equivalent to a head of lettuce.
So there was a fair currency. Yeah, if it was written today, it'd be something like, as a batsman, he is certainly a deconstructed apple crumble, cinnamon on glaze, and vanilla bean ice cream, probably. Or as a batsman, he's a pear and almond tartner star, and he's coolie. Something more degustation wise, but those days plum pudding, that was it. Like that was the apex.
Yeah. I'm thinking as a batsman, he is certainly like kilo of bananas or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Something more relatable.
petrol.
Something
Yeah.
He wasn't relatable.
It doesn't. Look, I think we've skipped past the elephant in the room here. Can I draw our attention back to, as a batsman, he can sure lay on the wood.
Yeah.
What you're supposed to do in the cricket, is he?
Don, oh my God, what were you up to back in 1930? That was very...
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't recommend laying on wood. Like, use a mattress. There's
in the
soft
middle
things.
of a cricket match.
Yeah, soft areas. Yeah, lots of things to lay on. Don't lay on wood. Like, it's not going to be very comfortable at all.
For the literal meaning, yeah.
Well, that's
Especially when the Ashes is on the line. Like, come on, you got to get a good night's sleep. You at least want a bit of fucking eider down happening there.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
So you reckon he just pulled the mattress off?
Yeah.
He's pulled the mattress off. It's kind of like, I've got to keep myself sharp. I've got another innings tomorrow.
For the next few days, I'm only sleeping on the slats.
Yeah. No one would share with him when they were touring because he'd wake up and just a mattress would get thrown across the room.
I only lay on wood.
He's like, does anyone want my mattress? It's like, no, Don, I've already got a mattress. I don't want to put two mattresses. It's like, I'm unusually high off the ground all of a sudden. He's like, well, I've got no use for it. Just the slats for me.
Slats for me. Great words.
Yeah, there's famous Don Bradman quote there.
Just a slat for me. If I can't teach that pineapple to play clarinet by summer, I only sleep on slats.
I only do slats.
Lay on the wood. Next question. That was actually verbatim from one of his press conferences after a test match at Nottinghamshire.
Okay. All right, the next verse. Our Don Bradman, now I ask you, is he any good? Our Don Bradman, as a batsman, he is certainly plum pud. Tate and... Oh, it's bloody good, mate. Tate and Larwood meet their fate, for it's always shut the gate. When our boy from Bowral hits 4 after 4, our Don Bradman always manages to top the score.
So he killed Tate and Larwood.
Meet their fate.
Yeah, right.
Murdered them.
So he's knocking any competition off here.
Yeah, he laid the wood across the back of their heads.
Well, this is 1930, and they went on to be like the two most feared bowlers in the Bodyline series. So if they're dead, they must have been ghosts. No wonder they were angry. Like
That's why they were good at bowling.
That's why they're
Yeah, right. Okay.
Supernatural powers.
Yeah.
So they were involved in Bodyline, were they, Damo?
Yeah, so this was written as they headed over for the 1930 series where they absolutely smashed England. And then when they came back in 34, I think Bodyline was, that's why they came up with the Bodyline or leg theory, as Jardine called it, to counteract Bradman's dominance.
Yeah, righto.
And
So-
Tate and Larwood were 4 years older and leaner and faster and angrier. And
Okay.
like they were just the foot soldiers. They were just doing what Jardine said.
Yeah, tuck a few up under the rib cage, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah.
All right, the next verse. So it's Woodfull, Grimmett, Ponsford, Kippax, and the rest prove that they were equal to the best. How gallantly and nobly we know they've done their share, but there's one tops them all, a real devil may care, and he's
Wow, Don Bradman.
Bradman.
And they ask you, is he any good?
Good.
How Don Bradman, as a batsman, only sleep on slats.
Slatsman. That's the misconception. It's like Don Bradman, yeah, one of Australia's greatest batsmen. No, he's one of Australia's only slatsmen.
What I wanted to say
Secret
before
to
was, I think his
success
secret,
really laid on wood.
his secret was every other batsman in the world were knocking their bat in
before play, he was just sleeping on his bat.
Exactly.
Exactly
They're
right.
like, Don, what's the
So-
secret to your success? And he's like, what are you knocking your bat in for? Just sleep on it, you fucking
Hey,
idiot.
lay on the wood.
Just sleep on it, dickhead. Yeah. Just let your genius soak into it. Like apparently he didn't have blood, he had linseed oil.
I sweat.
So,
linseed
Damian,
oil,
do you know
except when I'm
anything
in a
about
bad mood,
these?
it's WD-40.
I sweat linseed. Damian, do you know anything about these blokes? Woodfull, Grimmett, Ponsford, Kippax?
Yeah, so Bill Woodfull was not in that series, but in the Bodyline series, he was the captain.
Right.
Clary
Popped it
Grimmett
on the head.
was
He copped it.
he was thought to be the best, probably the best leg spinner prior to Shane Warne.
Oh, bullshit. Okay.
He was a gun. Bill Ponsford, the Ponsford stand that the MCG is named after him. He was an opening batsman and he was probably the second best batsman. If Bradman hadn't been around, everyone would have been talking about Ponsford.
Right.
And Kippax, I think, was just like a middle order batsman. I don't know much about him, but they were probably the next best four. Interestingly, though, there's a lot of players not mentioned there. And I was going to talk about this later on, but Bradman was not particularly well liked.
Really?
And, yeah, he was a knob.
Oh, was he
Proud of
really?
both ears.
But he kind of brought a lot of it on himself. He was a Protestant and he hated Catholics.
Oh, right.
And so any of the Catholics, like Bill O'Reilly, another brilliant spin bowler, and Jack Fingleton, Jack Fingleton is my favourite player from that era. He was a great batsman, but he was also a journalist and kind of like left-wing Labor Party man. And
Right.
he and Bradman had a massive falling out, and they basically didn't speak for the rest of their lives. And Bradman used to always goad them. Like one day, Jack Fingleton put holy water on his cricket bat before he went out to bat. And he made a duck, and as he was coming off, Bradman went to replace him, and he said, I thought I'd try a dry bat, see how that went.
Got him.
Hated each other.
Do
And
you
there's
reckon
a,
this song cemented his status then amongst the
I think
Australian
so,
public?
yeah. Look, he was certainly revered everywhere, and everyone, but there was always this kind of awe around him. But I was reading all these articles today, and all these people like held their tongue about Bradman but he just kept having a crack at people.
So
And,
that's
the
new to
Fingleton
me.
thing,
I didn't know he was actually a dickhead.
Yeah, he was a
Massive
teetotal,
dickhead.
which was fine. But there was a great story after the Leeds test in 1930 where he broke the world record and made 334.
Mm.
A businessman there, a bloke called Whitelaw, who was a local soap manufacturer. How you become a rich man in England from making soap, I don't know, but he did. Anyway, old Whitelaw, he gave him £1,000, which is in 1930, in the middle of the Depression, is massive.
Big coin, mate.
Massive coin. Bradman did not give a cent to the other players, didn't buy him a beer, nothing. Just
Fuckwit, man.
yeah. So there's a
Plum pud.
that's a one-off, but like there was a lot of stories like that. He in that series, the boat was going. No, that was 1948. The boat was going across to England. He was massive in India, but Australia hadn't played in India at that point. The boat stops in Bombay. There are thousands of cricket fans lined up on the wharf to come and see Bradman. He comes out, does a bit of a wave, goes back into his cabin. Most of the rest of the Australian team go down on the dock to meet the people. Bradman wouldn't get off the boat, and he never, his whole life, stepped foot in India.
Are you kidding me?
He was like massive there. He was a god there.
None of this is in the song.
No, it's not in the song.
See, I would have liked to think that he was just a good bloke, and like
Yeah,
that
I know.
but I didn't know he was a dickhead.
Yeah.
Don Bradman.
Bradman.
As a batsman, he has never been to India.
And it went on because he became like he was Mr. Cricket. Like he was making all the decisions from the Australian Cricket Board and stuff for years. He basically caused World Series cricket because he wouldn't change the pay rates and just kind of held his ground and kept digging his toes.
100%. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I could keep going on Bradman, but
More like
good bat. dick bloke.
Don
It
Badman.
sounds like it. And look, you know, for all our international listeners, you're going to need to Google this guy because you're going to have no idea who we're talking about. But he's basically an Australian legend of the Australian national game, which is cricket. And like, there's never been a more legendary player of the game come Shane Warne. But basically, I never knew that he was such a shit bloke until now.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Basically,
So
the
what
Aussie
they
Babe
did,
Ruth
has their own
pretty
style.
much.
what they
Aussie
did when
Babe
they
Ruth.
recorded this song
but
was
there's probably no more dominant sporting figure in the world. Like, as far as someone who dominated sport, like his batting average is 99.94 is just off the hook, so much better than anyone else's.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, just he didn't ingratiate himself to others particularly well at all.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Oh, Don.
let's
Bradman.
see what they've got. Let's see what they've got to round this thing out. So they say, our Don Bradman, and I ask you, is he any good? Our Don Bradman, as a batsman, he can sure lay on the wood. How's that Mr. Lion, poor fish? Must just sit and wish that our Don Bradman had never come across the foam. Our Don Bradman, what a welcome waits for you back home.
Dubby Energy has declared war on Big Energy, who probably support ISIS. If you want an energy drink with no maltodextrin, no artificial colours, and no kickbacks that fund insurrections in the Middle East, then look no further. So head on over to dubby.gg and use the promo code 1001songs, that's the number 1001, for 10% off price of purchase. And remember, kids, if it's not Dubby, it's ISIS.
طويلة من الجهاد والصبر.
So the Mr. Lion there, it's misspelt, like it's written Lyon as in Gary Lyon, another Australian cricketer for international visitors.
Gaza.
It refers.
Yeah.
It's in reference to the British lion, which is on there. The 3 lions on the cap and 3 lions on the shirt in English cricket.
Yes.
Weirdly spelt with a W. Now, the come across the foam, that's kind of a well-known kind of phrase, but in cricketing terms, there's a well-known tradition in cricketing touring parties to masturbate over the rails when they cross the equator. Story. And Bradman, that's why I love touring so much. He could never wait. He already had it out while they were still in Sydney
Laying
Harbour.
on the wood.
Masturbate over the rails.
Over the rails, yeah. So on that particular tour in 9:30, they hadn't even got out of the Sydney Heads, and he spaffed on a fisherman. He's down Watson's Bay, and his name was Jeff Lyon, and that's where it comes from. The whole Mr. Lyon, I wish.
Fish. Yeah, right.
I love that story.
True,
So
yeah,
I
fucking
have
loved
no
it.
interest in cricket whatsoever, but I want to read this guy's
Slept
book.
on wood and spaffed on fishermen near the equator.
Wow.
well, it goes to show more evidence to how much of a fucking shit bloke he is. But
Yeah.
I didn't look to be fair. He didn't mean to spaff on the fisherman. It just was luck.
It's just where it landed.
Luck.
It's
was
just-
bad luck.
yeah.
I know we've all
You
been
should have
there.
seen it. It was this big.
Mate, you don't get a 99.94 average without having a little bit of aim.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that aim.
So let's.
That aim is like regardless of what he's doing, he's got good aim. So
Oh, he's got great
Yeah,
aim.
yeah.
even when
He
he's
had a good eye.
masturbating.
He had 2. Well, he had 3. He had 3 good eyes.
Yeah, great. I was even bobbing up and down outside the Heads of Sydney Harbour, mate. He's fucking. He's going hard.
Loved it.
All right, let's round it out. So to finish up, we say our Don Bradman. Now I ask you, is he any good? Our Don Bradman, as a batsman, he's certainly plumb hood.
establish that.
Though those cricketers now gone, Trumper and Spoffeth and so on, wrote their names forever in the Hall of Fame, our Don Bradman is the greatest ever played the game.
Spoffeth.
Spoffeth.
Is that what he did on
was,
the Fisherman?
Spoffeth. He spoffeth at the heads onto
demon
a fisherman.
He was known as the Demon Spoffeth. He was a fast bowler in the first test, but he was a gun.
Was he really?
A lot of these like Victor Trumper, who they referred to there, was he was the first Bradman. He was the star Australian batsman. He was more famous in England. He actually lived in England. He died quite young while he was living there, to be honest. But he was like the first superstar, and also kind of charismatic, loved by everyone, movie star looks.
Okay. The old Spoffeth, eh?
No,
Yeah,
that
right
was Victor Trumper.
Oh, the Trumper. Yeah.
Was like, he looked. If you look at old photos of him, he looks like Merv Hughes done up in olden days clothes.
Oh, okay.
Well, slightly balding, big moustache, bit of a gut.
Well, that's sexy. Yeah, because Hughes was the height of fucking sex appeal back in the early 90s.
Yeah, still is.
Yeah. Well, he still is. Still is.
Still is a marginal.
Righto. Well,
I've actually uncovered this. There's been some covers of our Don Bradman.
Are you serious?
Oh, I was trying to look
Yeah,
those
well,
up.
kind of parodies, if you like, but written about contemporary sportsmen. I couldn't find the recordings, but I'm happy to sing them to you.
Yeah, please do.
Please.
I'm going to bang them out. This was written reasonably recently. It's to the same tune. You'll kind of work out reasonably quick who it is, I'm assuming.
Righto.
Who is it that all Australia tweets about? Who has dominated our daily feed? Now, is it Russell Crowe or little Julian Assange? No, it's just a Canberra flog with a fuckwit entourage, and he's out. Nick Kyrgios. He wears what he thinks he's cool. Nick Kyrgios. Quite a good player, but a massive tool. Kyrgios. Every Aussie can't stand you.
Beautiful.
Oh wow! What a great rendition.
Very topical.
There's
Very
one
topical.
more I found. Okay. Here it is. You'll know this one straight away because it says his name in the first line, so you'll probably pick this one quicker. Greg Norman. Now I ask you, is he a good bloke? Greg Norman. In the fourth round, he would always choke. For decades, his name was up in lights, but he doesn't give a fuck about human rights. He's certainly gone the bash since he pocketed all that Saudi cash. Greg Norman, a self-absorbed entitled knob. They're the only ones I could find.
Oh man, they're really good songs.
I like the trill on Greg.
Yeah.
Greg Norman.
I should have gone with Nick Kyrgios. Let's run that in.
Righto. Well, look, let's do a couple of Patreon shout-outs. Thank you very much to Mike Seamus Reed, Wayne Peoples, Ryan Dunn, Ross Campbell, and Eloise Young. Your support is very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Very, very much. Okay, so look, this song was released in 1930, as we've discussed already. It was written by Jack O'Hagan, who's an Australian singer-songwriter and radio personality, Damian, as you have.
Well, Jack O'Hagan was a songwriter, but Art Leonard / Len Maurice sang it.
Oh, okay. So it was sort of a collaboration here on.
Oh, look, in those days, it was pretty common for songwriters to be the silent party. Jack O'Hagan also wrote, for the listeners, well-known songs "Along the Road to Gundagai."
Oh,
and
well, that
Donna Tuckerbox.
Well, that was actually next on my list.
Right? both about Gundagai. He didn't go to Gundagai until he was until 1957, well after he'd written the songs. So
Imagine that going there and like, oh, okay.
I thought, just before we do go on, I have found some other songs about Bradman because it was quite prolific. There's one I sent to Chibs, which you might be able to pop up on the
We did
site,
talk about that.
I was a mate of Bradman.
We're actually going to put that in the show notes because it's absolutely fantastic.
It's fantastic. Greg Champion and Kamal. If I had found that first, we would have been doing that as the song.
Let's come back. Let's save that for the next one.
Yeah. The Bradman by Paul Kelly, which is better known. That Bradman prick owes me $5. Kevin Bloody Wilson. Bradman dances in the wisp of the fog in the Wicklow Mountains. Enya and the Chieftains. And I gave Bradman a wristy in the Barrel Lions Club Rotunda. Like Damian Callinan and Little Paddy. So
I've heard
the Barrel Lions Club Rotunda.
I've heard the Barnsley cover of that one. There actually is a Wikipedia tab called "Songs About Don Bradman."
Oh, is there?
That's the truth, and there's only 3 songs on there, which is missing a few of the classics, really, in my opinion. But yeah, Paul Kelly loves writing about Mr. Don.
Yeah.
I feel like Friends of Rom have got to do a song about him now.
They do, man.
Yeah.
They do.
Don Bradman was in a fucking good team, but he was a cunt.
Don Bradman was in a fucking good team, but he was a cunt. Yeah. So, look, as Damian's already brought up, this song was actually written just before the 1930 Ashes Test series between England and Australia, of course, which was held in England that year. Now, the sheet music was released at the same time, just as Bradman scored a triple century in a test match in England, and it sold 40,000 copies in just a few days.
Wow.
And it's important to note there that back then sheet music was the CD single, basically.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, 100%. It was like, yeah, get that on your shelf.
Get that in because there was no there wasn't really heaps of radio or anything like that. You
Well,
bought
and
sheet
a lot of things weren't recorded.
Yeah.
Or it took ages to record them, so it was a way of playing them straight away.
This is the one I like too. So, A Piano Roll was also released that month. A piano roll recorded by Laurel Pardee.
So you know those pianos that play themselves?
Yes, that's what I thought it
that
was.
is, yeah, pianola.
Pianolas.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they really cashed in on this.
I really love the fact that this probably cemented Don Bradman. Like we're talking about it right now, and more likely than not because of this song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very cool.
I think by the time they came home, like there were bands, after they came back from the tour, because the sheet mix and the piano rolls had gone around. Everyone knew it, so all the civic bands were playing it back to them as they came in, which the other players would have loved. Like sure he had a good season, but
But yeah, it's also it's crazy that like they didn't know necessarily that he was going to come back a hero either. It could have been about anyone. It's just fascinating that it's
being such a dickhead as well. They would have got off the boat and they were like, "How Don Bradman," and he's like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Yeah. Throws his bat at him.
Yeah, just like
throws his mattress
fucking
at him.
starts bashing him with his bat.
Shut up, you idiots! Yeah.
Come on, get my slats off the boat.
Yeah. Bring my slats, post haste. Starts bashing everyone with his slats.
This is one of the prime slats. This is from vertebrae number 7. I'm going to clock you around the head with this, you dickhead. Yeah. Okay, so I've got one comment to make about the production. I feel like anyone that was drunk enough could have made it in the music industry back in 1930.
Yeah, like
just
we
get
said,
tanked and you're on.
The fact that you could just sell the sheet music and not the music itself means that most people could play it.
Yeah.
So I had, I guess by by virtue that it had to be quite simple.
That's true as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
Exactly.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like
or maybe
something-
everyone was good players back then. But,
There's something about the style of this kind of song that's got like I really wish that it would come back. The cymbal that gets choked quickly, like psh,
Yeah.
I love that.
What spins me out is that, like, it's partly the production. Obviously, the microphones capturing the sound made it sound this way, but like the singers of this era, they always sound like this. Like, like, didn't anyone just get up and go like, "Out on Bradman"? It's just like, did you just sing normally? Like, why are they all doing that voice?
Because that was normal back then. But maybe they were singing normal, and the camera, the microphones just didn't capture.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I thought the same thing when I listened today. I'm like, why does everyone fucking sound like this?
Yeah,
I think it's another thing. Now I'm getting music history nerd on you, but back then they weren't miking up every instrument or anything. You had to stand closer or further away from the microphone to capture your thing. So that there must be some kind of theory towards that voice cuts through the mix a bit better as well. And it was probably just the style at the time as well, like we listen to it now and it's kind of funny, but that was what everyone was doing. It's like the modern equivalent of the pop punk voice that you just did.
Yeah. It was really edgy.
Yeah.
It was very edgy.
Yeah, sorry if that sounded pop punk. I was just trying to do a normal voice, anything that wasn't 1930s voice, but yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it was very telling of the time. So, look, I'm taking it at the moment that there's no video for this film. Oh, hang on. I just saw Damian turn around and grab a LP off the shelf.
Oh, this is the album that I knew the song anyway, but it's on here. It reminded me of it.
What is it?
It's called Antipodean Atrocities. It was put together in the 80s by Glenn A. Baker. I'm not sure who the other dude is, but Bob Hudson. Glenn A. Baker was kind of, before Melly Meldrum, he was the guy.
Okay.
But it's got really old song, but it's also got some fantastic kind of more modern shtick. The Ballad of Lionel Rose. The Decimal Point is one of my favourites. Ian Turpie was that's not bad, Hector Bill. Ian Turpie, I don't know if you guys know him. He was like a game show host in the 80s, and he was also a kind of vaudevillian, cabaret performer. But he was commissioned to write a song about the changing over to decimal currency.
The Decimal Point.
It's kind of like this kind of groove number about the decimal point. It's
commissioned
hilarious.
The Mint.
And my favourite of all,
it's really cool.
Episode on this. There was a newsreader in the 70s and 80s called Brian Henderson. He was.
I remember Brian. Yeah.
It's a spoken word piece called "What Is a Square," and it's essentially like a tip the lid to the conservatives, like, all right, well, he works 40 hours a week and cares about his family. What a square. He forgot his wife's birthday because he was out drinking with his friends who were possibly going to get him an account with Westinghouse. What a square.
What a square.
It's
I'm guessing this one's
hilarious.
not on.
So
This compilation's not on
and,
Spotify
chip
at
on
the
the
moment.
shoulder. And weirdly, on YouTube, the clip that goes with it is just archival footage of police rounding up kind of mods and spivs in Trafalgar Square.
Oh yeah,
Trafalgar Square.
I don't think the timing's right. But what was that? I'm an individual. That would have been on there.
Jacko.
Remember that?
Is that on here? It should be. I think this might have predated that.
It inspired it.
Oh, another one that's worth seeing on YouTube is Sir Robert Helpman, who was a famous actor and ballet dancer from back in the day, on some kind of variety show doing Surfer Doll and doing his own kind of balletic version of surfing. And he's like 55 at the time. Like he's ridiculous. Can't believe it exists.
Oh my God.
Track this record down. I think.
That is fantastic. So look, Bevo, I assume there's no video,
No, so
but can you tell us anything else about bloody what's happening on with Don Bradman at that
I was
time?
going to say this may or may not happen, but we're going to leave a little space in here in case Zav wants to do some commentary over Don Bradman's footage.
Well, just dear listener at home, you should know that Zav has been having audio troubles this entire time. So I don't know if he's there.
We can still see him. He's laying on his wood, but
Yeah.
you
I
can't
can
hear
see
him. but-
beads of linseed oil dripping down his.
Linseed oil.
He's been desperately trying to. He's listened to the whole podcast and he's been sending through messages. I've got about 400 messages there that I'm meant to ask or tell Damian from Zav. One of them being something about.
Let's do a segment called Zav Asks Damo.
That's it.
One of them says it's no Aka Bilk. I don't know what that means.
He
but
held up the Akabilk album.
Yeah, he
Akabilk,
did. He showed us
was
that. Yeah.
Do you mean to say no? It's Aka Bilk? I don't know what he's.
It's no Akabilk, as in his album is better than mine. And he's
Oh,
probably
got
right.
it. Yeah, okay. That
Probably
makes
right.
sense now.
Can't believe I can speak Zav better than you.
Look, there's a lot of that sort of stuff in there.
It is a bit funny because I told Zav that we were doing an episode on Don Bradman, and he's probably the only cricket fan amongst us, so he jumped at the chance.
I'm a cricket fan. Don't speak too soon.
sorry.
Big cricket fan.
It's a great idea that you turn the microphone off to like you know something about cricket.
Anyway, so usually in about this segment we do a set list of the artist, which obviously back in those days there wasn't really. So what I'm going to do instead is a little bonus for you guys. I've looked on Discogs for this particular 78 RPM record of the Our Don Bradman song. So a bit more history for you. 33 is your typical record. Then you've got a 45 as a single, and then before that, when you imagine the record with the big horn, the gramophone, this is what you would be playing on those.
Fantastic.
So someone sold a copy of Our Don Bradman on the 4th of January 2020, and I want you guys to try and guess how much they paid for it.
So it's a 78 copy,
Yes,
original
70.
copy.
Yeah.
They've like the
78 original. All right.
It's the old 10-inch
10-inch, that's correct. Shellac.
shellac. Oh, I reckon. I'm going to say 800.
Okay. Mad Dog.
1,800.
Dan.
I'm going to go $3,000.
I don't know if Zav can hear me at all, but type now or forever hold your peace.
Type now your estimate, Zav, and I will relay. He's just staring at
It's
me.
kind of fitting. We're dealing with the 9:30. They're only just into talking movies then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
hang on. I think he's typing.
Oh, he's typing. No,
He's typing.
This is great audio.
Yeah, this is great podcasting.
It says Damian is mentioning records, is all he says.
He said
He
money.
said money.
Okay. Oh,
What's
he probably
this?
Can't hear us. Never mind.
Hang
Okay,
on.
it sold for $81.40.
Are you
Oh,
kidding me?
God.
They're not worth much. The
John Bradman. Yeah. Okay.
Bargain.
All right.
Well, that's disappointing. A little bit of
See you
legacy
later.
here. So the
Yeah.
song
What
quickly
about-
became. Oh, pardon me.
no, you're right.
A little bit of legacy. So the song quickly became popular, and within a few weeks was being performed at community concerts around Australia. When Bradman returned to his hometown of Bowral in November of 1930 after the triumphant tour of England, the band at the Civic Reception played Our Don Bradman. So the song was voted number 1 by teenage listeners of radio station 2UW in Sydney in 1967 after it was played as a joke for a listener who had sent it in. Okay, so basically what I want to tell you is, according to Google, Len Maurice is not dead. When you Google Len Maurice or Len Maurice, He was born in 1900, and currently, this motherfucker is 122 years old. But I'd like to get your opinion, everybody, your guess on what Don Bradman's net worth was at his time of death.
Oh man,
Zab,
when did he die?
Well,
he died in a pretty massive house in Adelaide, so he must have had a bit of coin. I'm going to say like 20 million Australian dollars.
20 mil? Bevo?
I just found out he died on 25th of February 2001, and he was 92.
oh wow.
Like a
I'm gonna
real
say-
dick.
I'm gonna say
Sorry.
100 mil, I'm going to say.
100 million Australian dollars?
Fuck, he's a
Or British
cricketer.
pounds?
He's not a fucking. He's not a singer.
I don't know.
Surely he could have just sold a few of those caps.
He had that successful song.
100. Okay.
He died
Dan
before
Southern?
IPL, so he mustn't have had much.
I think if he sold a few baggy green caps and sold his name to a line of Australian perfume of some sort, then he would have been very well off. Scent of Bradman.
Scent of bat.
Scent of bat.
Baggy green scent.
Scent of baggy green.
Yeah. All right. I'm going $25 million.
25 mil. Damien,
Yep.
what do you reckon?
well, this is an interesting one because he was well known for being pretty tight with his coin.
Was he?
Oh yeah, like that story about not sharing money with the thing, and after he got $1,000 off Soap Dude, that was not uncommon. He held on, didn't share, but also, and he was a kind of savvy businessman. He kind of worked out pretty early on he could trade off his name, but in those days they made nothing from cricket. You know, he was a work. You know, he was still working. Like he wasn't just.
He was a brick. He was a brickie on the side. Yeah.
But even like right up to the 70s, none of those cricketers were getting money. But I think because he was a savvy kind of businessman and buying properties and stuff, I still don't reckon he would have been much worth more than 4 or 5 mil.
Yeah, righto. Well, look, would it surprise you to have me tell you 1.5 mil?
That is surprising. Like Don Bradman couldn't afford to live in Thirroul.
Well, I want to check
2001.
I want to check the
certainly not
sources here
Bowral.
because, like, Bowral,
Yeah.
you can't even take a piss in fucking park at Bowral for less than
But he didn't.
300
But he
grand.
didn't grow up there. He lived in Adelaide most of his life.
Okay, righto.
So for his whole adult life, he was Adelaide. So
He was only in Bowral for like 5 years,
Yeah.
technically.
yeah, he wasn't even born there. He was born in Cootamundra. So
Enough time to piss the whole community off because he's a dickhead.
except for Dame Nellie Melba and Little Paddy, who
Yeah.
were fond of a reach around.
What he did wrong was when they opened up the museum, he said, "I'll donate my baggy greens and my cricket bats instead of offering them for some cash."
Yeah, well, yeah, they're all in that museum.
Yeah.
Everything's there. Like, the tea towel that he tried to play snooker with's there.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's not worth
towel.
That's not worth as much.
Clarinet,
as
pineapple,
a baggy.
they're all there.
Yeah. The real people
like-
that missed out are his kids.
His space suit.
Yeah, he's like, I've got lots of things I can sell. Bag of green cap, all my cricket bats, this pineapple. These are all things that are worth a lot because I've owned them. I
This
was
10-inch, 78.
This pineapple.
I'll take the bats and the hats, but you can keep the fruit, mate.
Rightio. It's time to do the thing where we rate this shit.
Motherfuckers, this is it. Now it's time to rate this shit.
Okay, what are we rating it out of? Slats on beds.
Yeah,
hats on
Hats.
slats.
Hats on slats.
hats on bats on slats on beds.
All right. So 10
stacks of slacks.
Pre-metric amount of linseed oil.
Okay. So, okay, you've got 10 gallons of linseed oil.
10 is out for a duck.
Dripped all over your body that you're sliding around on the slats on your bed so bad that you're popping every vertebrate disc that there is to pop in your spine, and it's so painful that you want to die. So 10 is shit. 1, you've had a little bit of a drip of linseed oil. Some very attractive young lady has rubbed it into the nape of your neck, and you've only got one little you've only got one little slat.
I'm really enjoying this. I'm recording it.
You've only got one little slat in your bed where it's resting very lightly and gently, and you're getting a great night's sleep. And you're probably going to get up and score a triple century tomorrow.
Next time I cross the equator on a boat, I'm going to close my eyes and think of that.
All right.
That rip over the mailing.
So 10 you want to die, and 1 is great. Bevo, what do you reckon about this song, mate?
When I was growing up, my brother was really into this style of music for some weird reason. I kid you not. Anything pre-1950.
How old are you? 100?
Yeah.
Anything pro Bradman?
Not necessarily. Not a cricket fan. He just loved early.
He loved gramophones.
Early popular music.
Okay.
And at the time I was very I was post 1950, so we were a bit at odds with that. But I've come around, and I fucking love this stuff now. So I'm going to give it a good old one. Good old.
Oh, it's a big one.
Yeah,
he loves it. Fuck,
I love it.
Zav, what do you reckon?
Well, I've actually got
the only
record player here with a record on there.
Oh, you're shitting me. He's putting it on too.
It's just the best of the Hollies. But what I was going to say was just taking the piss. Does play 78s though. It's the only other cricket song that I think is good is "Come On Aussie, Come On," which would get a 1 for me.
100%.
But this song doesn't talk about Hooksy clearing pickets, so I give it a 10.
I do like.
Oh, you kidding me? It's a 10.
Yeah.
Paul Kelly, Shane Warne's another good cricket song. I'll give him that.
Oh, the other good cricket song is
How's that?
Can't Bowl and Can't Throw.
What about How's That by Sherbet?
Daniel Southern.
Yeah, I feel like I could only give this song a 4 or a 6.
Okay.
Obvious reasons. And it was going to be a 4 until I found out how much of a fuckwit Don Bradman was.
Yeah, it's tarnished. Yep.
Like getting reach arounds in the, where was it?
The Lions Club Rotunda.
The Lions Club. Yeah.
Yeah, get like
that might have been one of the loosest facts I gave.
I mean, that's the one. That's the main one I took away. That's the main one I took away. The second,
which aren't, but that was
yeah. The second main fact I took away that he beats people to death with his bed slats, and then takes them home all bloodied up and sleeps on them.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like a good person, so I'll have to go with 6.
Okay, so you hate it a bit.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. Damian Callinan, what is your rating of this song?
Well, using the similar rating system, it should be a 4 or 6. I'm gonna say that the ball hit the short leg fielder's helmet, which is an instant 5. He's in five for the batting team. For all those reasons, I'm into old music too. 30s, 40s, 50s is my jam. Well, I'm happy with post 50 as well, but I'm a swing dancer. I've done a show about it. I love that era. This isn't a great example of a song from the era. It's pretty trite and cheesy. And I do think Bradman was a bit of a dick, but was a legendary cricketer, but just
legendary dick.
Not a great human. So I think I'm just all of that considered. I'm sliding right in the middle. The ball's rolled past, gone through Carey's gloves, and it's just trickled into the helmet for a 5.
It's a 5. It's right there. 5.
He's on the fence. He's like Don Bradman's 4/6s.
Righto. So it's a 5. It's hit the short, silly mid-on fucking helmet straight off it. It's a 5.
A resting helmet.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
The resting helmet. Pardon me. Yes, exactly. So for me, I'm going division here. I'm going to divide by billions. And
here for a while.
No. So I'm going to divide.
Why don't you just use the Duckworth-Lewis system and just let it work itself out?
I'm going to divide by 1 billion every Indian he did not meet when he sailed into Bombay.
Yeah.
So that would be 2 billion people divided by 1 billion. So I'm going to give it a big fat 2. I think it's I think it's a pretty damn good song.
I'll be dividing by billions.
Work it to be that.
But it would have been a 1 until I heard that Bradman was an absolute fuckwit of a human.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm going to tell you another story about Bradman that'll probably make you turn into a 1. So, in a previous tour, England made world record score against Australia of 904 in an innings.
Oh, wow.
They just kept batting and batting and batting. And that stuck in Bradman's mind. And when they came back to England on the next tour, he was captain, and they were just playing a tour match against Essex. And on the day, Australia broke the world record for most runs hit in a day. They hit 741.
Damn.
But halfway through the day, they were about 2 for 400 odd. And it's a tour match where, you're supposed to just declare and let the other team have a hit. But Bradman had in his head he wanted to humiliate them and try and break the record.
That's real Bradman.
And Keith Miller came out and said, "What are you doing? Declare." And Bradman wouldn't declare.
Mm-hmm.
They had an argument, and Keith Miller faced up and walked away from his stumps and let himself get bowled and just walked off.
Oh, you're kidding. Wow.
And it had prehistory. On a previous tour, Keith Miller was playing in a practice match against. Keith Miller was the rock star of cricket in those days. He was a all-rounder, good-looking, fighter pilot World War II.
Yep.
He's famous for the quote, "This isn't pressure. Pressure's having a Messerschmitt ME 109 up your ass after at a cricket press conference." And he hated Bradman, and he bowled 3 bounces at him in this practice match, and Bradman hit 1 for 4, 1 for 6, and the third ball he tried to hit him again and got caught, and Bradman was pissed off, and he refused to select him in the next series. He always claims that he wasn't the selector who didn't choose him.
Of course,
but all 3 of those selectors all say they picked Keith Miller because everyone hated them because they didn't pick Keith Miller.
Oh, dude,
that was common in the grubby little mind of that talented linseed oil secreting.
Well, I'm walking away enlightened tonight. Damian, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. Would you like to plug anything tonight before we jump off?
I've got a new washing machine.
Do you?
Plug that.
Yeah.
Plug that in, I'd say.
Yeah, if I plug that in.
Have you got anything coming up, mate, that the listeners can...
Look, I don't know when you're going to go to air, so I've got my new show Double Features, doing a couple of runs at the end of July, touring Victoria in...
Couple of features, you reckon? Or?
Couple of features, yeah. Might as well. I don't know. Yeah, the Bodgy Creek Community Podcast. That's the easiest thing to plug because it's just there.
Excellent.
Yeah, awesome.
People will be listening to this in 2 years' time and go, "Oh, I wouldn't mind going to that gig." That happened.
Well, mate,
19 months.
as I said, I really enjoyed your flick on Netflix called The Merger. I would recommend
get on to that.
to any listener here. That's a bloody good time. It also features Bodgy Creek. So, Damien, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. Bevo, thank you very much. Trusty Beverage.
Thanks for coming back. Damien, thanks for coming back. We'll see you again for Kamal.
Yes, we have to catch up again for the Kamal song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan Southern, thank you, buddy.
It's all right. No, thank you, mate. Thanks for doing a much better job than Chibs does every week. Yeah, you're a better person, better looking person, and I'm glad Chibs is dead. No offense.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you for those.
It's so much better since we can hear Zav.
Yeah.
And
not just because we can hear him, but the standard's gone up.
Yeah,
what's that?
It really has.
Who said that?
Classic Zav.
And Zav, I want to thank you. And look, everyone here, I thank you very much. And all the rest of you listening, you can go and get fucked.
You can. Fuck off. Don't subscribe to our anything. Fuck off.
Told you to fuck off last.
Hi everyone, it's Dan here from 1001 Songs That Make You Want to Die. I'm here today to let you know that our podcast is now available on Patreon. That's right, for as little as $2 a month, you can now support this podcast rather than listen to it for free, effectively stealing the food out of the mouths of our starving children. There's one of them now. So why not join us on Patreon? You get bonus stuff each month, and you can even be a guest on the podcast if you want. Now, doesn't that sound better than making our poor children starve? Oh, kids are great, aren't they? Anyway, on with today's episode.